Hello gardening friends, today I'm going to be transplanting broccoli into my square foot garden bed. So let's get down to the garden and get to it. Here we go. Today we're going to be transplanting broccoli. We're not going to be doing seeds. Now you can do seeds, but you have to start a lot earlier. And the weather is cooling off. It's time to get our broccoli in the ground. I'm in zone 7B, so we can plant broccoli now. We'll get a head off the broccoli, and then we'll get little floret throughout the winter, and sometimes even till the spring of next year, depending on how cold a winter we get. I got these at my favorite garden center, the Brawley Market. If you're around Mooresville, stop in and see these guys. It's a great family-owned company, and they do raise a lot of their own plants there. These are actually pretty old. Now, if you look closely here, you can see that they have roots coming out of these little nodes where the leaves used to be. So if we plant this deeply, it'll have roots coming out all along there. And that brings up another thing. If you're following my square foot garden techniques, and I'll leave a link to my square foot gardening video at the end of this video, or I might even put a link up here so you can click here now if you haven't been there before. You will want to put an extra row or an extra height of 2x4, put another square foot up if you don't have dirt underneath, because we're going to be planting these down deep and the roots take up a lot of room. So yeah, go ahead and put an extra square on top here. I'm not going to, because I do have dirt, and it's fairly good dirt underneath here. I'm going to be putting 2 of these broccoli in a single square foot bed, which is going to be a little bit cramped, but it's called high intensity. There's room for 2 in here. Now broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and cauliflower are the most popular brassicas, and I think broccoli is probably the most popular. It is easy to grow. One nice thing about growing it in the fall is that you don't have the bug pressure that you do in the springtime. In the springtime, it tends to get bugs on it, worms that eat it, and they poop out the green poop you can see on the broccoli leaves, and they can really destroy the whole crop, and also can get aphids and stuff. In the fall, you don't have those pressures, so it's a good time to plant. Now you can eat the broccoli leaves as well. The broccoli plant is a leaf plant, and the broccoli head is actually the flower that you eat before the flower blooms. So it's actually called florets, which is like flowerettes. So that's what we eat, and that's the good part of the broccoli too. But you can eat the leaves, and guess what they taste like? They taste like broccoli. Imagine that. Alright, so here's a square foot bed that I did use before. So I'm going to loosen up the soil a little bit, and I'm also going to add some compost in to replenish some of the nutrients. It's also a good idea, especially for broccoli and brassicas like this, to go ahead and add some organic fertilizer into your soil so that your plants will have enough nitrogen and phosphorus and potassium. And if you get an organic fertilizer, they're going to also have trace minerals and some other things that the microbes and stuff that the plant's roots are really going to like. So it's a good idea to put some of that in. I'm going to dig, just loosen up the top. Actually, we're going to be digging through here, so it doesn't really matter a whole lot how deep we dig for this. But I'm going to put in here some compost from my vermicomposting bin. I just dug this up this morning, and so it's got a lot of worms in there. You can see the worms. Okay, this variety is called Green Magic Hybrid. Light, full sun, 6 hours, spacing 24 inches apart. Of course, we're not going to do that. Planting depth says container deep. We're going to plant it a little deeper so it can get more roots, since these plants are sort of old. Maturity is 57 days after planting. Alright, so we're going to plant these fairly deep in this hole that I dug. Just sort of press on the sides of these, and they should pop right out. Got lots of roots. Let's see if I got this deep enough yet. I just want to plant it deep enough so that the leaves aren't going to be on the soil. Or I could even cut some more of these bottom leaves off. Like this bottom leaf here doesn't look very healthy, so I can probably just cut that off if I wanted to. So what I do is I put the soil right around the root ball and I firm it down. And that's when I give it some water, because I want the water to go around the root ball and get the soil in contact with the roots. So I give it a good dose of water. Then I'll give it a minute or two for that water to settle, and I'll put the rest of the soil around the plant. Hey Dave! Oh, don't bother him. That's my garden buddy. Not a very nice welcome. I just came to talk to your viewers, tell them to give you a like and a thumbs up, make sure they're subscribed, and to look at your starting square foot gardening videos. Thanks for that, but so you can get out of here. You're welcome. Okay, I'll get out of here. Bye. Bye-bye. Sorry about that. I'm not sure quite how to keep him from popping in here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put the rest of the soil back here. And I can give it a little bit more water too, but I'm going to dig in the other side. We'll smooth everything out when we get both of these plants planted. Alright, here's another nice looking plant. Some more compost. Nice thing about compost is it's not going to burn your plant. And again, give it some water. You can see that this Mel's Mix soil is really a nice mix. It drains really well. That water I just put in there is already gone. One thing I wanted to say too is you should plant your plants, transplants, at night, and preferably on a day where it's going to be cloudy the next day. It is supposed to be cloudy today, but it is morning time, because morning is the only time with these shorter days that I have time to get out here and plant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get a bucket, one of these white buckets, and I'll put it over top of these plants so that they won't have to have all the full weather and sun, even though it's cloudy, so that they won't have to have the full sun on them after they transplant, to give them a little time to get over their transplant shock. I'll just put a bucket on like that, and they'll be happy. I'll take this bucket off tomorrow so they can start getting the sun that they need, of course. I will leave a link up here to my starting organic gardening, starting square foot gardening video. And over here I'll put a link that Google says you will like. And like my buddy said, if you are interested in growing organic, nutrient-dense food, make sure that you are subscribed and click that bell so you get notified and don't miss anything. Alright, thanks for watching. Have a blessed day. See you again real soon.